friends. Today I want to talk about clarity in our relationship. When we master the art of questions, it us to the place where we know the right questions to ask when relationships. How confident and feeling will it make you feel if you know what kind of questions you will need to ask and what your first steps will be as you navigate relationships? This is so important. In our day and time, it will seem like marriages are crashing on a daily basis. There is an extent to which that is true. To that extent where most of the relationships that are thriving, the participants rarely come out to share their success stories. Maybe for fear of whatever their fears are. And so it will look like there is hardly any marriage that is working. But at the same time, it is not it's not a lie that marriages are really crashing in our day and time. And I'll tell you one of the reasons. There are several reasons. You come into this world, and as a child, even until you become 18 years, nobody allows you to make any choice in life. Whether it is where you were born, your parents, your siblings, your countryside home, your local government, your state, your country of residence or citizenship, not even the choice of schools you attend, not even the choice of the court. You know, it's amazing that you are now an adult, 18 years. Your parents are still attempting, actually hijacking the process of who decides what course you're going to read, who decides what school you're going to attend. Our parents literally control who our friends should be. You want to go to church on Sunday as a young chap, you prefer the black shoe to the white shoe or the red shoe. And somebody out there is insisting, trying to dictate literally what you must wear and what you must not wear. So you do life, grow up, become an adult. You've never been opportune to make any strategic decision, any critical choice-making process. You've not gone through it. Your parents regulate the food you eat. They regulate what time you go out, what time you come in. And I'm not saying any of these things are wrong. I'm going somewhere with this. So after taking charge of your entire life to the most minute detail, when you eat, when you drink water, when you sneeze, when you cough, when everything you do is dictated by people, life does not allow you the slightest opportunity to engage in critical reasoning, strategic decision making. Then suddenly you are now 18, you are now 19, you are now 20, 25. All of a sudden, your parents expect that you should be intelligible enough to decide who your life partner should be. Are we not jokers? We're jokers. Jokers everywhere. How in the world do you understand the technicality of decision making in old age? How does it work? It's not going to work. It is the reason why people are proficient engineers, but they make a mess of marriage. People are incredible medical doctors, but they make a mess of marriage. People turn out as incredible lawyers, but they cannot intelligibly decide who is best suitable for them in terms of a life partner. Why? Because you've never been opportune to listen. Decision making requires expertise. There is practice, continuous practice that makes for proficiency. You will need to have made certain decisions and realized you were wrong, corrected yourself, then realized you were wrong, then corrected yourself until you come to the place of mastery. Mastery involves and requires practice. It becomes important that you make some mistakes in your decision making growth process on issues that are of no critical consequence, but to come and make mistakes when it comes to making a decision for a life partner, that's emotionally complicated. That now requires an engagement of emotional intelligence, an engagement of some intellectual practice or expertise or prowess. It requires a certain level of proficiency in decision making where you are going to choose in black and white. That's very easy. How do you make a decision between white and gray, white and off-white preferably, when you have never had the experience of choosing between black and white? How people are still battling with choosing between good and bad. How do you now expect them to be proficient with choosing between good and better? And that's where we miss it almost all of the times, because we assume that because somebody is biologically an adult, the same person should be an adult in intelligence, in experience, in strategic decision making. It's not going to work. Everything in life, every expertise in life will require practice, a period of time, a growth process that allows you to make mistakes and then learn from your mistakes. And woe be you if you are going to learn from your mistakes. The first time you want to learn, you want to invest 10 billion, and then that's when you are going to learn the art of business and business investments, entrepreneurship, and business management. Then you're going to die of a heart attack. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You want to practice these things with simple capitals like 50,000, 10,000, 100,000, and then you learn by truth. It is complexities like this that warranted the creation of the Clarity Challenge. I had to create the Clarity Challenge because every day you sit down, you have conversations with people as they battle with relationships, and tears almost drop from your eyes because you could see people cannot see what the heck is going wrong because of the lack of exposure, the lack of training, the lack of mentorship, the lack of experience that is critical to making intelligible decisions. It's difficult to bring people to that place where we realize that marriage, the family, is not just an organism, that the family unit is an organization. And then leadership is critical in making relational decisions, family decisions, and in running the family. And no marriage thrives, no family survives on dictatorial tendencies. No marriage survives when the leaders in that marriage, and when I say the leaders, of course I'm talking about the head of the family and the assistant head of the family. When the leaders in the family lack proficiency, lack excellence, lack experience when it comes to navigating, providing leadership, collaborating, bringing synergy into the equation. When somebody in the marriage thinks that because she is the breadwinner or because he is the breadwinner, they're not accountable to anybody, they decide what it is they do because they're the head of the family, then they don't owe anybody an explanation. People carry these mindsets from their family unit. I haven't seen how family is run. They carry the same mindset into public office, into institutions, into all kinds of places. That's why things are collapsing. That's why things are collapsing. God created man to have dominion over the things he created, not to have dominion over his fellow man. There is no such arrangement. So management, running the family requires a certain degree of expertise when it comes to managing human and material resources. As you go into marital relationships, you must know the kind of questions you ought to ask the other person, to know their expectations, to know their desires, to know their dreams, to know their weaknesses, to know their fears, to know what they are running away from and what they are running into, to know their trauma, their pain, to know their mental health state. There's so much you need to know about the other person to define whether both of you are even going in the same direction. Because the truth is this: marriage is a journey. In that journey, first of all, it is critical that you know where you are going, because knowing where you're going makes it incredibly easier to recognize who you ought to travel with, because you ought to travel with somebody going in your direction. Then the second thing is that you must be careful who you are traveling with, because even when you know where you are going, if you travel with somebody who is going any other place other than where you are going, the possibility that they are going to make you end where they are going is very high. As a matter of fact, it's either you are going to join them to their destination or there will be no marriage, the marriage will crash. It's either they are going to join you to your own destination, or otherwise there will be no marriage, otherwise the marriage will crash. Or if either party refuses to join either party to where either party is going, then there will be a collapse in the marriage. That's exactly why most marriages are not working. Because people did not define these things. People don't know the questions to ask. People don't know what to do. So we have to create the clarity challenge where we bring intending couples, engaged couples, dating couples into a boot camp. It's an online event, and then they are compelled to ask and answer certain questions that are put on the table for them. In one of the sessions, one of the participants asked this to say, and I just want to share those thoughts with you. This person says, courtship is about potential spouse. Knowing, he said, comes with getting sincere answers to questions asked. This brings clarity. If this be the case, then one can say that if all the questions that have been asked so far in this challenge are compiled and asked to a will-be partner, the period of courting them can reduce by almost 70%. Wow, I like that. There's so much more he wrote, but let me stay there. He said, listen, if clarity is the target, is what we want to achieve, he said, then if the questions that have been asked so far in this challenge, at the time he was writing this, the clarity challenge was a 52-day challenge. Today is now 15 days because we've graduated from 52 days to 30 days. We've gone to 20 days. We're now on 15 days because the more we go about this, the more we understand how to navigate it and achieve the result that we desire to achieve. So at this time, the Clarity Challenge was a 52-day challenge, and this was day number 39. He was giving his own review about his experience so far in the Clarity Challenge. That's why he was saying, if this be the case, then one can say that if all the questions that have been asked so far for the first 39 days, there was still about 11 days or something, about 11 or 12 days that has been asked so far are compiled and asked to a will-be partner. He said the period of courting them can reduce by almost 70%. Trust me, that is how profound the Clarity Challenge is. There are questions you don't even dare ask your partner, the person you're dating. No, you can't ask them certain questions. No, you can't. There are questions you ask your partners while dating or courting or engaged that could spell doom, that could bring a relationship to an end. Excuse me, are you doubting me? Or you don't trust me? Are you suspecting me? No, why are you asking about my background? Why are you asking about this? Why are you asking about that? The Clarity Challenge is going to unavoidably engage these people in conversations that they didn't even think about. Look, some of the conversations that Clarity Challenge will compel you to get involved in, you've never thought about them. Listen, to even respond to some of the questions, it takes you aback because it makes you, it digs into who you are. You are done with Clarity Challenge, you discover yourself. A lot of people don't even know themselves. How do you choose correctly? How do you define who your partner should be if you don't know who you are? Because a working knowledge of who you are is what helps you to define who fits, who suits, who is aligned with you. When you know where you're going, it shouldn't take 30 minutes or forever to know who is not going in the same direction with you. And on first instance, on first mention, there are basic questions you're supposed to be able to ask. There are basic responses you're supposed to get from them that should tell you that that conversation should not exceed beyond that point. I've seen people in relationships for as much as 1 year, 12 months, who should not be in any relationship with themselves. I've intervened in relationships, and within 25 minutes, I've asked questions, and the responses I get make me wonder, how in the world did you two ever come together? And how in the world have you two been together for 1 year and you didn't discover that in the first instance, both of you had no business being together? This is profound. The Clarity Challenge was set for the 2025 edition of the Clarity Challenge. This year, we're going to be having a cohort every month of the year. This year, we're going to have several seasons, and it's going to be there. So I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're doing. You're in a relationship. You're dating. It's always fantastic when people participate in the Clarity Challenge at the dating stage, before the relationship has even advanced to certain critical stages, so that certain things can be corrected. Your growth areas, the places you need to work on, we can help you identify it, give you assignments and responsibility, work to do to go and improve on certain areas. Because you see, at the end of it all, there are certain corrections, there are certain things that are identified, and you're already on your way to the altar, and it's like almost late to correct these things. Let me say this, it might help you. When people are already married, there is this entitlement mentality that cripples every effort to navigate that ship in a positive direction. Certain conversations and agreements, if they are not entered into before you get to the altar, entitlement mentality, which oftentimes is unavoidable, is going to mess with what it is that you're doing. It's not a wonder that the Bible says, can two people really work together unless they be in agreement? And that agreement is beyond marry me, I will marry you, date me, I will date. It's talking about detailed agreements that cover at least 15 critical areas in human interpersonal relationships. And that's what the Clarity Challenge seeks to address. 15 models that will transform your life forever. You don't want to mess with it. And so I want to recommend that to you. One more thing. The Clarity Challenge and the Love is powered by the Love Life Institute. And this is my view. Don't do life, love life, marital life. Don't try it without participating in the Clarity Challenge. Because if you do, I cannot guarantee that your journey in marriage will not be an endurance trek. Hey guys, I am Mason IB West. I wish you all the success that you wish yourself and you're willing to work for. Thank you so much. I'll see you again.